Harry and Meghan are about to, well, come back to the United Kingdom, a place apparently they don't feel safe in, and they know they're not welcoming by certain people. So why the return? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London as ever. Nice to have your company, and thank you also for your kind comments about some of the recent videos. I know the do you remember on this day history stuff does make you think, doesn't it? You know, when you look back at certain things and you can't quite believe it's that many years ago. I always think, don't you, that it doesn't seem, like 5 minutes or whatever when that record was #1, and you look and then they say, oh, it's 25 years, 27 years. You think, really? Are you sure? Then you have to look it up, don't you? And then the worst bit is you find out it's true. I was totting up here. I can't believe, I know it was a really obvious thing, the millennium 22 years ago. Remember it like it was yesterday with Robbie Williams singing that record. Where's that time gone? And me still only 39. Back as ever to your breaking royal story of the day. This particular story, well, came out of the blue, and what's interesting here really is that it was launched on the day of the Princess Royal's birthday, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. And when you think about it, there could have been other days to launch it on. Now, as I've said to you before, I know the lovely Princess Anne very well. Lovely, lovely lady. Doesn't like any fuss and nonsense about birthdays, just gets on with the job. A lot to be learned from this senior member of the British monarchy, let me tell you. But what's interesting is that Harry and Meghan do like all the trappings of the Royal Association. They like to announce these things, don't they? They're going to be visiting a charity, a preview of the Invictus Games in Germany, and then another charity apparently that are very close to their hearts. But what's the true story behind all of this visit? Well, according to a very good source, and as ever, we have to say allegedly, they have to come back here to the United Kingdom to sort out some rather thorny issues regarding their ongoing cases, litigation cases. And the big reason behind that is that, they really need to do this in person so they can have a sit down one-to-one. One might think, of course, that you could do this sort of thing via Zoom, the digital world, all that. But there's always a risk, isn't there? Some person could, in fact, hack that and find that conversation. Hence the reason it has to be in a private room, normally in the offices of their solicitors. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong particular in that, but also they've made an absolute faux pas on this particular day, because on that day that they want their big fanfare of arrival is the day that we find out exactly our latest Prime Minister over here in the United Kingdom. And on that day, that Prime Minister will meet with our gracious Majesty the Queen to be asked by her to form a government. So whether they figured that after all the negative and bad press from the Tom Bower revenge book would reverse this, the front pages on that day, trust me, will be all about our latest Prime Minister. So again, I would say whoever's looking after the marketing, the PR, the branding, and more importantly the publicity of Harry and Meghan, seemingly better get a better grip on what stories truly affect the British public over here. Cost of living crisis, wage cuts, strikes, all of that sort of stuff. So we wish them well upon their return, and I'll be there to report every single step of the way exclusively for you. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.